Hey guys, Lauren Wendell, aka The Fit Law. I was having some connection issues, so I just started the whole thing over. Once again, I am going live tonight. I'm going to talk to you guys about homemade mayonnaise. I think that people think that this is so much more complicated than it really is, and it's such a huge staple, especially for those of you who are doing paleo or high fat, low carb. It's a really, really great kind of addition to like your repertoire, right? Like it's something that you should be able to make. When you go to a lot of restaurants and you hear like, oh, we have a garlic aioli or we have a lemon aioli, it always starts with like an egg base, which is where mayonnaise comes from. So sorry that I had to jump on. I was having connection issues. But this is one of those recipes that it is a staple. For those of you who follow me on Snapchat, you know that we eat this all the freaking time, especially when I was doing Whole30 and paleo. Mayonnaise was just one of those things on the side that I would put in with my French fries, with my roasted potatoes, with my burgers, with my chicken. Didn't matter. It was just a condiment that had no preservatives, no sugar. It is a little higher in fat, which is okay, healthy fats, but it was one of those things that I learned how to make very, very well and very frequently because it just became a staple in our house. And I've been sharing this recipe. I've shared it a couple times, but I have never done it on the blog. And so I really wanted to have the full recipe for you. So if you do want the full recipe to make it yourself, it is above in the description. Just go ahead and click the link. It'll take you to the blog and walk you through it. One thing you're going to need for this is either a food processor. I just have a really small 3-cup food processor. This is great for this. You can use a bigger one as well, or a blender. And if you're going to use a blender, that's totally fine, but you have to have a blender that has that piece in the middle that you can take out. You need to be able to run the machine, the food processor or the blender, and be able to pour something in the top at the same time, okay? So just understand that. Now, a couple things I need to get still is a bowl, a little spatula, grab that, and then I do need some acid, and I'll walk you through the 2 options for that as well, okay? So I'm going to jump right in here. This is probably going to be a very fast recipe. I'll jump over and answer questions, so if you have them, post them now, because like I said, this live feed's going to go really quickly because this recipe does not take a lot of time. Okay. I've made it 7 times now. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Once you make this yourself, you will never buy it again. Here's the main difference between homemade mayonnaise and mayonnaise that you buy from the store. And I have some in here, so I'll just show you. So this is just Hellmann's mayonnaise, right? The very first thing is soybean oil. It's not the best quality. You can definitely do better yourself. And it has whole eggs and egg yolks. Now, before anybody says this, I'm going to tell you right away, this does have raw eggs in it, and it is absolutely fine. The mayonnaise that you buy at the store has raw eggs in it. I don't know if anybody knew that or not, but it does. This is completely safe to eat. You should not have an issue at all, as long as you store it properly. So, put that away. Come on. So soybean oil is usually the base, and so that's not the best for you, right? So we're using olive oil and eggs as our 2 fats, and we're gonna use that. So we're just gonna start this off. If you guys have questions, like I said, pop them below. And an immersion blender will totally work as well, absolutely. Okay, so we're gonna start with an egg, a whole egg, okay? And you're just gonna crack that into the bottom of your food processor. That separated weird. So the whole thing, the egg yolk and the white. This is the difference between a mayonnaise and an aioli. With an aioli, you're just going to use the yolk. You're not going to use the egg whites, okay? So that is the main difference there. We're going to add part of our oil now and part of our oil later. So we're going to start with 1/4 of a cup. And this is very, very, very important. It needs to be light. What is going on? Oh, it would help if this was off. It needs to be light tasting olive oil. Do not use regular. You will thank me later because every time I do this recipe, somebody uses regular olive oil and then they send me a message and they go, my mayonnaise tastes like crap. And I immediately ask, oh, it would help if I had the blade in here. What am I doing with my life right now? Guys, this was supposed to be like such an easy recipe and I'm like losing my mind. Okay, so 1/4 a cup of light tasting olive oil, okay? This is going to be good in the fridge, covered in either like a mason jar or a little dish with a lid for about a week. But I'm going to tell you right now, it will not last that long because you can eat this with literally everything. So I'm going to do 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, okay? 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground mustard. This is really, really, really important. You have to have the ground mustard or it doesn't taste right, okay? Like I said, I just eyeball this because I've done it enough. Now, this is the important part. You're gonna blend this part together before you start adding the oil. So we're just gonna pulse it on low, just for like a second. Okay, and then we're gonna slowly drizzle in an additional cup. So altogether you're using a cup and a fourth, and we're gonna slowly drizzle this in the top. So go ahead and measure that out. I started eating this. I can't remember the first time I ate it, but yeah, the very first time I made it, I totally messed it up. It didn't work. But once you learn how to do it, it's seriously so fast. I cannot even tell you. People can't believe how fast it is, and it makes all of the taste difference. Like, it tastes so much better than the stuff you get at the store. Learn from experience. Regular olive oil makes it smell really bad. Yeah, it's gross. You know, every single time I tell people that, they're like, I don't have the light olive oil. I'll just use regular. And I'm like, don't do it. And every time it smells really bad. It's too strong of a taste. So you can also use other light olive oil, other light oils like avocado oil. Some people use macadamia nut oil, I believe, and some other nut oils. I choose the light tasting olive oil. I think it's the best. That's the best one that I've found. So now, while it's on high, you're going to slowly drizzle in the rest of the oil, okay? So we had a fourth of a cup of oil in here with a full egg, a fourth a teaspoon of ground mustard, and a fourth a teaspoon of salt. So we're gonna put it on high, and I'm gonna slowly drizzle this other cup in, okay? Do you see that? Look how easy that was. And we have mayonnaise. Right? Like, ridiculously easy. Now, there is one more step that you do need to do. There are so many people that skip this step, and it's not, again, it's not gonna preserve right. It will start to separate if you do not add an acid to this. So you have two options for this, okay? There's two that I've found that work. The first one is lemon juice. Okay, you can use just like a tablespoon of lemon juice, super, super simple. Or if you don't have that, you can use half a tablespoon of white wine vinegar, or champagne vinegar, any kind of white vinegar really. I'm gonna go ahead and use a lemon because I have one, so we'll do that. But you can use another acid as well. So you could use orange juice, you can use lime juice, you can use pretty much whatever you want as long as it has some kind of acidity in it. So that is like the necessity. So you're gonna put this into a bowl, okay? I always do it in a bowl. I don't ever mix this in. Do not do this part in the food processor. Again, trust me, you don't wanna break it. And what's gonna happen is if you do this in the food processor, you're gonna overblend it, it's gonna break, and you're gonna message me and be like, Lauren, this didn't work. Okay, so we're gonna stick this in a bowl. Oh my gosh, I love this stuff, it's so good. It's like the easiest recipe in the world, and you'll totally impress all of your friends. And you can add tons of different stuff to this to make like fancy mayonnaise. Okay, I need to rinse my hand. I don't know why my towel keeps disappearing. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna just go ahead and we're gonna use, I wouldn't even say, it's not gonna be like half of a lemon. Yes, I did just cut on my countertops, it's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna use about a tablespoon, like I said, of lemon juice. And I'm just gonna squeeze this in. And I just do it through my fingers because I don't wanna get any seeds in there. Okay. Now, when you're doing this, you wanna fold it in. So I'm not talking like a whisk or anything. Again, we're not doing this in the food processor. We're taking a spatula and we're folding it over. So that when they say folding, they just mean like picking it up and folding it over gently. So you're gonna fold in your lemon juice or your vinegar or whatever acidity you're adding. Now this is also the part that you're gonna add your extras. So if you wanted to make this spicy mayonnaise, you can add some sriracha or some hot sauce. What I do is I reserve half of it. I do two. So I make one for me and I make one for my husband. So I like the traditional, just regular mayonnaise. I can eat it like this all day long. My husband likes it spicy. So what I do is this makes quite a bit. It makes like a pretty big batch. So I take it and I like put it in half. I take half of it out, and that one's for me. And I always get more because, you know, I made it. And that's only fair. I cannot wait to try this and make chicken salad. Yeah, it's a really great addition to, it's a really great substitution for the mayonnaise that you buy at the store. It's a lot better for you. There's no preservatives, there's no additives, like we're using all natural ingredients. So it's definitely a better solution. So now I'm gonna add hot sauce to this one. Now, when I was doing Whole30, I found this hot sauce that doesn't have, it's just jalapeno pepper hot sauce. I get it at Trader Joe's, and literally the only ingredients are jalapeno peppers, vinegar, and salt. And so I add this in for my husband. Now, just some other things you can do. Roasted garlic is amazing. Roasted garlic mayonnaise, hello. Roasted garlic is amazing. And again, we're just gonna fold this in, okay? Bacon mayonnaise is, I mean, do I even have to say anything else? Bacon mayonnaise is good. You can make this even a little bit more fresh with some herbs. So put some thyme, put some lemon zest in there. Make it fancy. Like, it doesn't take a lot to make this super, super, it makes it look like you spent so much more time than you really did. Like, how fast was that, guys? So again, for the full recipe, go ahead and click up in the description, and you can pin that right on your Pinterest board so you guys have this for later. And just like that, I have 2 different batches of mayonnaise, and these are going to keep covered in the fridge for about a week. To see the full recipe, again, go up to the description. You can also head over to my blog, which is www.thefitlaw.com. This is a really great addition on the side of roasted potatoes. That was what I would recommend starting it with. I know that some people are like, ooh, that sounds weird. It's ridiculously good, like ridiculous. You will never want to eat your French fries or anything else with, seriously, no ketchup. Ketchup is for those people. We eat mayonnaise with our fries. It's insanely good, and you will never be able to go back. So please try to make it yourself. It's super quick. To see the full picture, I guess, go head over to my Snapchat. I always put a picture up on Snapchat and Instagram. I'm at TheFitLaw, and I will be posting this recipe to my Pinterest as well, which is pinterest.com/TheFitLaw. And I will catch you next week. Sorry that was such a fast one, but this isn't really a super complicated recipe. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Please use this. Tag somebody that needs some mayo in their life, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great night. Bye.